Okay, today's lesson is a review of old skills, being able to divide multi-digit numbers. Our essential question of the day is, how do you divide multi-digit numbers? Here we go. When you watch a cartoon, the frames of film seem to blend together to form a moving image. A cartoon lasting just 92 seconds requires 2,208 frames. How many frames do you see each second when you watch a cartoon? So we're going to divide 2,208 by 92. But first we're going to estimate. We're going to use compatible numbers. We're going to use, so compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to divide into each other. So we're going to look at this 2208 and this 92 and think about some potential numbers here. What immediately comes to my mind is 92 is pretty close to 100. Once you're working with a number like 100, it would be easy to divide 2200 by 100, or even 2000 by 100. This is a little more closer, so you're going to get a more accurate estimate. But this would be fine also. Just make sure that they're close to the original problems and that they're compatible and easy to divide when you're estimating. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the 2200 divided by 100 equals 22. Because if you take off these zeros, you take off those zeros, you're left with a 22. All right. So our final answer should be in the ballpark of 22 when we're done. So we're going to start with 92 cannot go into 2. 92 cannot go into 22 either. So even though this 2 is kind of, I feel like, not accurately displayed, I would have it directly over the 0, because that's what you're dividing into. 92 into 220 is what we're dividing into. All right, and they already gave us the answer for that. That's 2. 92 times 2 gives us 184. So how many times does 92 go into 368? And my brain is racing ahead right now. I'm thinking, it's probably going to be a 4, because 9 times 4 gives me 36. So let's go over here and do a little margin work and make sure that I'm right. All right, 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 9 is 36. All right, so that's nice and tidy that it goes in evenly. There's no remainders. So 368 gives us, take away 368 gives us 0. So compare your estimate with the quotient. This is our quotient, which is the fancy math word of saying the answer in division. And our quotient is 24. Our estimate was 22. Therefore, our answer is probably right. It's pretty close to the same. So compare your estimate with the quotient. Since the estimate, 22, is close to 24, the answer is reasonable. So you can see, you see 24 frames each second when you watch a cartoon. So these are all frames, right? So there's 3 right here. You see 24 of those every second when you're watching a cartoon. That's pretty amazing. All right, example 2. So we're going to divide 12,749 by 18. So first thing we're going to do is use our estimating skills. So 18. Think of a nice round whole number that's near 18. My first thought is 20. This over here, 12,749 49. My first thought is, oh, maybe I should round it up to 1,300 or 13,000. And then I realized, no, 20 doesn't go into that very easily. So instead, I'm going to round it, let's try 12,800 divided by 20. Because 749 is pretty close to 800. So we have 12,800 divided by 20. Well, let's get rid of this to begin with. All right, so 2 goes into 12 6 times, and 2 goes into 80, 40. Oops, I shouldn't have put a comma there. Sorry. So 640 times. All right, another way I might have done this, just to make my life really fast and easy, I might have divided 12,000 by 20, which would give me 600. That's nice and easy, quick. I can do it right in my head. I don't really have to think at all. So we want to be in the ballpark of about 600 when our answer is done. Okay, so let's go ahead and divide. They did some of it for us already. 18 does not go into 12. So our first digit in our quotient does not go above the 2, it goes above the 7 here. So 18 goes into 127 7 times, which is 126. Then you bring down the 4, then you subtract, bring down the 4. 18 does not go into 14, so we have to put a 0 there. Take away 0, bring down the 9, subtract this 14, bring down the 9. 18 goes into 149. Ooh, well, it's roughly 20 going into roughly 150, so that'd be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160 is getting a little big when we're all the way up to 8. So I'm going to try 7 first. Let's try a 7. Okay, so that's 56. There's a 5. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 5 more is 12. That might be too small. Let's try 8. All right, 18 times 8. Let's see, that's 64. Regroup the 6. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 6 more is another 4. Oh, look, that's it. Okay, because that's still less than 149, but really close. All right, so it's 8. So 708 so far. 144, subtract. All right, and we don't have any more numbers to bring down, so we have a remainder of 5. All right, let's go ahead and check our answer. So our answer, our quotient, is 708, remainder 5. So we'll set this up with, to check our answer, like this. Notice there's 2 rows because we're multiplying by 2 different digits, one in the ones place, one in the tens place. All right, so 8 times 8 is 64. Regroup that 6. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 6 is 6. 8 times 7 is 56. Okay, now we're not multiplying by this space anymore, so we're going to put a placeholder so that we don't put our first product underneath the 8. We want it to come straight down from the 1. All right, 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 7 is 7. All right, now we can go ahead and add. We have 4, 14, regroup the 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 5 plus 7 is 12. All right, so we have 12,744 so far. But remember that little remainder here. So we need to add that on to see if it matches the original problem. 4 plus 5 is 9. All the rest just come down. So we have 12,749. So we did that correctly. Nice job. Okay, let's take a look at the back side for example 2. We are now on page 6 of the big book. Okay, 59,990 divided by 280. And they want us to write the remainder as a fraction this time. Okay, so first we're going to estimate. This is pretty close to 60,000. This is pretty close to 300. So I'm going to make this 60,300 because that's going to make division really easy. All right, so we're going to say 60,300. Okay, I'm going to lop off my zeros off the end. Okay, so 3 goes into 600 200 times. Nice. Okay, so our final answer should be in the ballpark of 200. So now let's go ahead and find the exact answer. So 280 does not go into 59, but it would go into 599. I'm going to guess twice. So let's do a little margin work. 280 times 2. 16,1, 560. I think that's about as close as we're going to get. So we're going to put that 2 right above the 9 here and subtract that 560. We end up with 9 and 3. So 39, and then we're going to bring down the 9. All right, how many times is 280 going to go into 399? Well, we already know that 2 is too big. So we're just going to go with a 1 here. So that's 280. 9 take away 0 is 9. 9 take away 8 is 1. 3 take away 2 is 1. And then we'll bring down this 0. Okay. Oh, this is kind of a big number. It's pretty close to 300. This is pretty close to 1,200. So this is pretty close to 300. This is pretty close to 1,200. So that would be roughly 4 times, right? So let's try 4 to begin with. So we have 280 times 4. 0, let's see. 4 times 8 is 32. Regroup the 3. So that's 8 plus... Oh. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so 0, take away 0 is 0. 9 take away 2 is 7. And then those are both zeros. So we have a remainder of 70. Oops, I forgot to put my 4 up here in the quotient. Sorry. So we have a remainder of 70. This time we're not going to write R70. Because they want us to write the remainder as a fraction. So what you do is you take this remainder and you make it a numerator, and you take this dividend and make it the denominator. Or I mean the divisor. I'm sorry, the divisor. This is the dividend, this is the divisor. So our remainder, we make the numerator. The divisor, we make the denominator in our fraction. But notice we can make this smaller. They have a common factor. Their greatest common factor, in fact, is 70. Because 70 will go into 70, and 70 will also go into 280 4 times. So 70 divided by 70 is 1. 280 divided by 70 is 4. So we could simplify that down to 1/4. All right, let's go back and compare our estimate with the quotient. Since the estimate was 200, is close to 214 and 1/4. We have to keep that remainder there as our fraction. The answer is reasonable. So 59,990 divided by 280 is 214 1/4. Wonderful. All right. Okay, we're going to do one more together and then go to our notes. Okay, so first we're going to estimate, then we're going to find the quotient, write the remainder, if any, with an R. So they're not going to ask us to do a fraction again this time. Okay, so this is roughly 30. And this is roughly, I don't want to say 1,000 because 30 doesn't go into 1,000 very easily. 900, should we do 30 and 900? Or 990? 30? Yeah, let's just do 30. Let's do 900. We're going to take this, make it 900 divided by 30. So our answer should be in the ballpark of 30 when we're done. Okay, 29 goes into 98. Well, we know there's a good chance it's going to be 30, or 3, I mean. So let's try that. Let's do a little margin work. Times 3. 3 times 9 is 27. Regroup the 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 more is 8. So that's good. We're going to start with 3. And that gave us 87. Notice I put the 3 above the 8 because we did not divide into 9. And we did not divide into 986. We divided into 98. So the 3 goes right up here. 8 take away 7 is 1. 9 take away 8 is 1. Bring down the 6. Okay, so let's think for a minute. We have, let's do count by 30s. 30, 60, 90, 120. So if we got up to 4, we'd have 120. I wonder if that would work. Let's try it. Let's do 29 times 4. A little more margin work. 9 times 4 is 36. 3. 4 times 2 is 8 plus, oh, look at that. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3 more is 11. So guess what? We don't have a remainder this time. So let's put our 4 up here in our quotient. All right, so our answer is 34. Nice job. Okay, let's take a look at our notes. So when we divide multi-digit numbers, we estimate first by using compatible numbers. Think a little bit and make those numbers nice and easy to go into each other. Then we divide the problem. Then we actually divide the problem. Write a quotient, which is the answer, with the remainder as a fraction. That means you take the remainder, put it in the numerator, take the divisor, put it in the denominator, use the remainder as a numerator and the divisor as a denominator, and you're good to go. All right, take a look at the notes in PDF form.